today I'm going to be doing another anti-haul video. I actually really like doing these, and it's been a few months since I've done my last one, and it's starting to become like that season where just everything is coming out. I feel like beginning of spring is always when companies launch a lot of makeup products, and there are so many cute things that I want. There are a lot of things coming out that I have absolutely no interest in, so I'm just gonna go through and list some of the newer products that have either just come out or are going to be coming out and what I think about them and if I'm gonna buy them or not. Okay, so the first thing on my list is something that just cuteness wise was like 100%, oh my gosh, I have to have it. But then the longer I waited and the more I thought about it, it was like, you know, I don't need it. And that was the Etude House Kit Kat collection that they did. Like I said, packaging wise, it was so cute, and it's something I like really wanted like immediately, like impulsively. But you know, I'm not a huge fan of Etude House eyeshadows, or too many Korean eyeshadows in general, just because like I like the more intense, super pigmented type of eyeshadows. And with Korean eyeshadows, they just have a little bit of a different culture when it comes to what they prefer with their eyeshadows, and softer sheer washes of color tend to be a little bit more of the style for Korean eyeshadows, and I'm just not into that. And even though it was so cute, I was just like, you know, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm trying to resist on some things. Like, there are a million Korean products that I really want to try and I will be trying, but I just try to like reel it back when it comes to products that I almost in my heart I know I'm not gonna like as much. So that is definitely the first one on my list that I'm going to be resisting. Next is a line that just came out not too long ago, and it was the Zoella and ColorPop collaboration. Now, to be honest, I don't think I've ever watched a single video from Zoella. I don't know anything about her. I didn't even really think that she's very much of like a makeup-y type person or not. But first of all, I really love the overall look of the whole collection. It reminds me a lot of like kind of K-beauty style, where it's really cutesy, it's kind of food themed and brunchy, and I really like that. And I actually ended up buying the palette, and it was kind of one of those things where I immediately wanted it and I bought it, and then I was kind of like, you know, I shouldn't have bought it. I just really impulsively purchased it, and it's actually going to be coming tomorrow. And even like looking at it and how cute it was, I was like, you know, I have so much stuff that's like this, but I ended up buying it anyway. So that's one thing that I did end up buying. I haven't gotten it yet. Like I said, it's going to be coming tomorrow. So yeah, that was just something I was kind of like, I just need to think about things more before I buy them. Next is the newest Anastasia palette. This is the ABH Riviera palette, and this one I just have absolutely no interest in. I like the like packaging of it, like the actual palette looks really pretty, but then like the colors on the inside don't really match what I would expect from looking at the palette from the outside. But I do like that it's very different for a lot of the ABH palettes. It's super colorful and bright. It's not just like one of those palettes with like a pop of color. It's actually like just pretty bright overall, and I like that a lot of them are bright but almost like a slightly more, what's the word, like subdued kind of color. They definitely look really pretty, but nothing that I'm really that interested in. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be one that I'm not gonna be buying. Next was the Tutti Fruitti Collection 2, I guess, from Too Faced. They kind of came out with like their Tutti Fruitti stuff like last summer, kind of more towards the end of the summer. They came out with their Tutti Fruitti collection, and they're doing, I guess, like a part 2 to this one. And I did like the little palettes that they had, the two little like watermelon slices that magnetized together. I thought that was really cute. But I also thought it was really funny that, again, Tarte just came out with like a new line that they're doing called, I think it's called Sugar Rush, and I think it's supposed to be marketed more towards like, I don't know, younger kind of kids and stuff, like you know, teens and stuff. And it's really cute, and I like the packaging of it. I think it's really fun. I just thought it was so funny how both of those companies both came out with like a watermelon like shaped palette at the same time, just because, I mean, it's not the most creative idea in the world, but just the fact that they both came out with that like right now, I thought that was super funny. Even though I think both of them, the Too Faced and the Tarte, are both super cute, I don't think I'm gonna be purchasing them, even though it just, I don't know, it looks really cute and it'd be like fun to have in my collection, but I just don't need it. I just don't need it. It's cute, but I don't need it. Another thing from Tarte, they just also came out with, God, I can't keep up with all of these makeup launches. It's so much, but they just also came out with their like wine collection. They had something called like Wine Knot, and I think they had like a rosé theme too. But this one I'm not interested in, and the brushes were kind of weird. Like, they look like little, you know, like alcohol glasses and bottles and stuff like that, and they like actually stand up, which is kind of cool, but kind of weird at the same time. But it's also like a just complete ripoff of of the Chateau Labiat wine tints that have been out for years, and I actually own those and I like those, and yeah, so I just don't really feel the need to buy that, especially since it's like, I don't know, just like a super obvious ripoff of that. I feel like I'm all over the place, but going back to Too Faced, another collection, how do they, I just don't know how they keep up and churn out all these products. It's so much. But the Pretty Mess collection, this one I feel like has been out for maybe a few weeks now, but I have absolutely no interest in this, and I used to be like the biggest like Beverly Hills Housewives, like all of the housewives in general. I really loved that show, but as I've gotten older, I just haven't kept up with it, and honestly, I don't care about them anymore. But this whole collection was based on Erica Girardi from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I don't know, I just never really got into her personality, and I didn't really care for her that much, and she's like this like trying to be a pop star kind of thing, I don't know, but I just really didn't like how, not to sound like super prudish, but I don't know, it's just really tacky. I don't know, like the Pat the Puss, I don't like that. I can't believe I just said that. I don't like it. And then of course, like how the Pretty Mess palette, like the theme of it is of course pretty mess, and like the eyeshadow pans are all like which way and wonky. That drives me so insane. Like I can barely stand when eyeshadow palettes have like different shaped pans all in the same palette, like unless it's done really well. I do not like that. So for them to just be like all mixed matched and like, oh, I can't do it. Like even the Dose of Colors, their like Hidden Treasures palette, I think, that came out like a few years ago, they did that same kind of like wonky pan thing, and I was just like, that's a pretty palette, but I just can't. I don't know why. It just visually bothers me because then there's like so much wasted space, and I just don't like it. The next thing was a palette I really wanted to get, but again, I have so many palettes and I'm like, it's always palettes that I want to buy, but it's the Venus XL2 palette. I thought that was so pretty. It's kind of more of like on the pinks and greenish kind of color palette, which I thought was so pretty, but I feel like maybe I should try to do like a dollar dupes video on that one and dupe it out with my collection of Coastal Scents Hot Pots. And I also haven't done a video in that series for a while, so I've been thinking about doing that, but it's kind of been out for a while now, so I don't know if people would even be interested in it, but maybe I'll do it for myself. But that was a palette that I really want, that just like, it looks pretty and I just don't need it. Next is another palette. Of course, it's always palettes, but this was from LA Splash or La Splash. I still don't know if it's LA Splash or not, but it was called the Golden Gatsby palette. Now, when I first saw that pop up on Ulta, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so, I was like, wow, I want to buy that palette immediately because it had so many pretty green colors, which I really love, and I feel like there's not many green kind of themed palettes out there, at least yet. But I tried to like, you know, control myself and not just immediately impulsively buy it, and I started watching like a couple of videos on it, and you know, the like really foily kind of shades that really caught my eye that are in the bottom row of the palette, just whenever I was seeing swatches of it and like seeing people like do looks with it, I don't know, I kind of became like disenchanted with it, and it's just not as, I don't know, enticing as it was in the very beginning. So even though it wasn't like a super expensive palette, definitely one I think that I'm gonna be passing on. I don't know if this one really counts because it hasn't even like launched yet, and I don't even know if I've seen any product videos of this at all either, or like product pictures, but Urban Decay is gonna be doing a Game of Thrones theme. Now I could totally change my mind if I actually end up seeing what the products are gonna be. I think they've just like recently announced it, so I don't know what the products are gonna be, but at this point, like just thinking of it, I don't know, Game of Thrones isn't my thing. I think I've probably seen like one episode of Game of Thrones, so it's not really my thing, but I might be eating my words if I see what the actual products are like, but just on face value, I'm not that interested. And moving on to a few things that are definitely things I really want to get, but I'm still trying to like resist. A lot of these, again, I think all of these except for maybe like one, yeah, is gonna be an eyeshadow palette. So the first thing that I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram and I really liked the Milani Hypnotic Lights eye toppers. I'm a huge fan of like eyeshadow, like cream eyeshadow, glitter eyeshadows, especially Korean brand ones. Those are my absolute favorite. I love the Stila Glitter and Glow, Shimmer and Glows, all of those. I love those. They're so beautiful. I saw that Milani was coming out with their own versions of them. I haven't looked at them too much, but just like off the top of my head, I saw those and I was like, ooh, I might want to get a few of those. But I'm gonna try to resist because I do have a lot of cream eyeshadows and I love them so much. Like they're one of my most favorite products, probably aside from eyeshadow palettes. They're they're probably my most favorite products to use and to try, but I have a lot of similar ones, and cream shadows do go bad, and I don't want to just go crazy and buy so many and then have them end up drying out. So I'm just trying to make an effort to use more of what I've already got in my collection and just try not to, I don't know, hoard them. Next was a palette that I just saw like literally 10 minutes ago when I was kind of putting together my thoughts for this video, and it's called the Morphe 35G Bronze Goals Artistry palette, and that one just looks so pretty. I mean, again, I feel like there's a million things I already have that could do that, but just overall the palette, like the color configuration just looked really nice. There were also a few like kind of greenish gold olivey kind of colors in it as well, and I thought that was so pretty. But I think I'm gonna try my best. Another palette one that I just saw a few minutes ago was the BH Cosmetics Opalescence palette. Again, I love the color palette of this one. It just looks really nice and pretty. It's, again, those neutrally brown kind of colors, but then it's got a little bit of pinky purples in it as well, and overall it just looked really pretty. But I know I have so many things like that. Again, that one's also a little bit less expensive palette, but it's just so pretty. The next two things are more things that have been out for a while, but I just completely missed it. I don't know how, but it's the Wet n Wild Rebel Rose collection. They did these really pretty brushes as well. I really wasn't that interested in them, but I was looking at the little quads, and even though they're not that special, something about them was just, it looked really pretty and cute, and I like the colors together, and I like the theme of roses and stuff. So that's kind of something where I feel like, you know, obviously the packaging and the whole like theme of it is kind of more enticing to me than specifically the products, but I still think they're pretty, and I like how the little eyeshadows have like rose imprints on them. I think it's just really cute collection. So yeah, that is some of my thoughts for some of these products that have either just recently launched or are going to be launching soon. And it's just kind of overwhelming that the more I think about all of these like upcoming launches and stuff, I just kind of get overwhelmed with it, and I don't want to buy any of it, which is good for me because I definitely don't need to buy any more makeup or spend any more money. And over these next like month or two, I definitely need to save some money because I'm going to be going on a trip to see BTS in Chicago. So it's going to be a very expensive weekend, but you know, I could save a bit of money and not buy so much makeup. So yeah, let me know, what do you guys think about some of these makeup collections? Are there anything that you just have to buy, or things that you want and you're trying to abstain from, or just any collections you're interested in? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.